call upon the proposer, Assemblymember Twycross.
Thank you. I welcome the opportunity for the Assembly to join calls from across the country and, in our case, across the political divide, to welcome people, men, women and children caught up in the current refugee crisis. And I think I'd echo Victoria's comments earlier about tolerance in our city. And Britain, and in many ways particularly London, has a proud history of providing a safe haven for refugees of war and conflict. Many Londoners came here as or descended from refugees, and it's our moral duty to continue that and to play our part by ensuring that we welcome refugees from Syria caught up in the current crisis. And it's in many ways, a national shame that we haven't acted sooner. And in my view, it would be a national shame if we don't increase the offer made on the numbers we will allow to come to the UK. I'd question how Germany can accommodate 800,000 refugees this year, but the UK can only find room for 20,000 Syrian refugees in total and just 4,000 this year. And I hope that number is reviewed. We pride ourselves on still being a world power, and we should act as such and play a full part in the international response to this crisis. I also want to add briefly a point on how refugees and those seeking asylum should be treated once they are here, because if we say we welcome people here but then leave them to live in poverty with insufficient benefits and not allowed to work, I think that's a pretty grudging and half-hearted welcome. And according to the Children's Society, support for children seeking protection in the UK can be as little as half of that received through the mainstream benefit system. In some cases, children and families would need nearly 3 times more than they currently receive in order to be pulled out of poverty, and nobody in our city should be reliant on charity and food banks to get by. A child isn't inferior because they're a refugee, but the benefit system treats them as such, and I accept that's a historic issue. I would like the Mayor and colleagues opposite who are in Parliament to put pressure on the Government to ensure that all refugees, and particularly children, are treated with dignity and given adequate support. London's councils have responded admirably in saying that they will welcome refugees. I'd like us to call upon the Mayor to convene an urgent meeting of councils and other relevant agencies to discuss how this can be done and to urge Government to ensure that they have the funding to do so adequately. I also welcome the MP Daniel Zeitner's suggestion of a voluntary national home registers for those citizens able and willing to accommodate the most vulnerable refugees. In the absence of a national scheme, I would also urge the Mayor to coordinate such a scheme in our city, working with councils and voluntary organisations to prevent refugees from homelessness and destitution. I want to finish by saying that it is also clear that we do need the root causes of the conflict in Syria and the refugee crisis in Europe to be addressed. However, the crisis for many individuals and families is now, and we cannot blame anyone for seeking to leave both Syria or the squalor of many of the refugee camps in neighbouring countries. We need to do more as a city and a country. We must continue to increase pressure for the Government to act swiftly, and we and they must play a full part in addressing the immediate crisis and welcome refugees. Thank you.
Thank you.